Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel for this week's unboxing and planner setup. If you are here for the giveaway, it is going to be at the end of the video and it's going to be a long video, so strap in because I am going through every setup page of this planner and doing some great stuff with it. I'm very excited. My old planner was a daily and I reached the end of it except for 2 weeks that I decided to just leave blank and move on to this new planner because it's the new year, so I figure it will be fun. So first thing you see when you open the box is the how to use this planner manual, which I love. It just gives you some inspiration of ways to fill in the charts and the pages to make it work for you, and I did find it helped me get some inspiration as I was going through and struggling with some ideas. So pulling it out, it is this beautiful periwinkle color. It's light blue with a little hint of purplish tinge to it. And it also came with these beautiful stickers, but I'll get to those later. It has the same strap that goes around it that is really nice. On my last planner, it lasted me through the year, which honestly, well, it was 6 months, but honestly, I have cats, so I'm amazed that my old planner came out of my use as well as it did. So I am excited to use this one as well. So first, going through, you'll see there are some goal planning pages and a vision board and all of that sort of stuff. And then each month we have a monthly layout and then a monthly review, and every 3 months there is a goal planning page for the next 3 months, which I really love. There's a system called the 12-week year that I'm not actually doing. I haven't read the book, but just the idea of setting goals for 3-month increments in order to make them more urgent. And I really like that idea because if I want to write a book in the next year, that's a lot less, like, that's something that I'm going to keep pushing off until later in the year and see what happens. Whereas if in 3 months I want to have an outline for the book, it would be much more tangible and more likely to get done, honestly. In the back, there is the usual little pocket where you can keep some stickers or any information, any paperwork that you need to store. You'd have to bend it up, of course, but that's fine. So first, let's flip through these gorgeous stickers that came with it. In the last planner, there were some brightly colored stickers that I did use a little bit for goal planning, but these are so much more functional and so beautiful. I feel like they're more beautiful than most planner stickers that you can get a hold of these days. So I'm really excited about those. I feel like the Happy Planner stickers are great, but they're all a little too big for my taste and not enough foil and a little too much deco and not functional stuff. And these look like really functional stickers, so I'm excited. This year, I'm also doing something different where I went through all of my sticker collection and pulled out the stickers that sort of work together and work with the stickers that they gave me, and I'm only going to use those stickers in this book so that hopefully the whole year will be a little cohesive. It's inspired by the Happy Planner Girl line. When they first launched that, it was so amazing because their idea was we have a planner and sticker books and accessories that all go together so you can use the same one all year and have it all look cohesive. And I really want to experiment with that because in my previous planner, I would basically use a different sticker book each week, and I had a lot of fun with that, but I was never able to really nail down a nice style, and so I never knew for sure when I started a spread whether or not I would like it at the end. So I'm hoping that by narrowing down my sticker selection, which obviously there's still a lot of stickers, you can see me flipping through them here, but by narrowing it down, it'll all look and work a little better together. I'm mainly looking for darker purpley tones and a lot of gold foil to work with in this planner. All right, and so I was about to start, but then I realized I also wanted to show you guys the pens I would be using. I ordered some tulle pens that have not arrived yet, but I have my Tombow lettering pens, this yellow highlighter that bleeds a little, but it's a nice shade of yellow, and some midliners and friction highlighters. And then these, I believe, are also Tombow dual brush pens if I want to go with a darker look than the midliners. So the first thing I'm going to do in the new planner is actually flip all the way to the back. This planner is amazing because it has so many dot grid pages at the back. It's amazing. So you can really customize this planner, include lists for things you like, or for me, what I'm going to set up here is my pre-planning for the year, and I'm going to get it all down at the start of the year, so anytime a date comes up that I need to incorporate in my schedule, I can put it back here. So I'm just going to go through the January dates and then cut away and jump ahead to when they are all done. I'm going to put in my work schedules that I have, as well as birthdays, because I want to do better with keeping track of friends and family's birthdays and maybe start sending them cards this year, as you'll see. So this is how it turned out, and it's such a great way to just get it all down in one spot so that I don't accidentally double book myself. This is how I avoid putting things into the planner ahead of time. I don't like doing that, putting it in my weekly spread. I like it in theory, but plans always change, and then I will have a week that I just wasted in my planner because it's completely wrong, and I don't want that to be the case. So I flip to the front page and just write down my name. I don't put down my phone or email because that would be probably not a great idea to do on social media. This year I am hoping to really make my planner spreads look a little better. I want them to be more functional, more goal-oriented, and prettier. So I am also experimenting with just writing in all caps. I think my handwriting looks better. I think that's what a lot of the YouTube channels that I really like do. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So to start, the first goal planning page in the Clever Fox Planner is, what is the vision for the life I want? So I put down this bullet point that is a really pretty, it's more like a bronze foil on that one. And this was a little easier for me than I expected because I had already done some of this work in the 6-month planner that I used before this one. And so I copied some of those things and came up with some new ideas. I also realized you don't have to use all the space to write, so I wrote a little bigger, spaced things out a little more. The first is, I am a strong and healthy woman. I am a yogi, a vegan, and I am mindful. I am not officially vegan, but in the new year, for at least the first 3 months, I want to be as vegan as possible within reason. So if there's things already in my cupboard, like Worcestershire sauce, for example, that's not vegan at this point, I can go through that bottle and then move on to a vegan version. That's a way to keep costs down when transitioning. And the main idea behind that, I'll get into more, is to curb my unhealthy eating. The next vision for my life is that I am known for being kind and nurturing, but also as being self-sufficient and kick-ass. I am very much a people pleaser. I am very much a caregiver. People always talk to me about that, how it just seems like that's like I'm a very traditional caregiver, motherly type. And so it's weird to them when I'm like, no, I don't have any plans to have kids at this point, but it's just not in the cards for me at this point. And I'm doing my best to be okay with that, and other people can too. The next is, I have multiple creative projects going at all times. That is something important to me, and I do always have creative projects. I have my YouTube channel, I have my podcast, I have scripts that I'm working on, and I have the books that I do editing and ghostwriting on. But I like that lifestyle. I would prefer to do that than to do more tedious work like serving and nannying. Nannying can be very creative, though. Let's be real. Kids need entertainment. But that's one part of my life that I do like, and that is part of my vision for my life, is to be working on projects that excite me. Next up is, the work I do is flexible and fulfilling. I create opportunities for others. I have a happy home filled with love and fun. I have numerous sources of passive income that fuel my dreams, and I am rooted in a strong foundation. Now, some of those things are kind of true. Some of those things aren't true yet, but they're part of my vision for my future. One thing that is exciting about this goal setting session is I'm a lot closer to where I want to be than I was even a year ago. For example, the having multiple creative projects going on. I didn't a year ago. I had stuff. Well, a year ago, I was starting to work on stuff, but the foundations are laid more for that. And one of the things that you'll notice in my planner as I set it up is my theme for at least the first 3 months of this year is really about getting rooted, getting grounded down. And there wasn't really a single word that really encapsulated that, because like rooted isn't as inspirational, or foundation isn't as, it doesn't fully encapsulate what I'm going for, but I'll get into more of that when I do my vision board. For now, I'm going to move on to the next page, which is what is my life's purpose? What is my mission? So I put my purpose as encouraging others to fully engage with life. So in the things that I'm creating, even the podcast that I have about Friends, I want people to really engage with the show Friends. It's very much a show people binge watch, they put on in the background, and they've watched it so many times that they start ignoring it. And part of the podcast is digging a little deeper into, wait, what is this episode really about? Why does it work? Why doesn't it work? What is the history behind it? That's what I'm really going for, is just fully engaging with everything. Another big thing of mine is to never stop growing. I want to always be learning and pushing myself and doing new things, because I don't know, it always sort of hits me weird when I talk to somebody and I feel like I'm such a different person than I was when they were part of my life, like somebody I grew up with or something, and they seem very much like they're the same person. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just when it seems like they haven't learned, they haven't had new experiences, that if they're content, that's good for them. It's just, that's not for me. I want to be different every time you see me. I want to be constantly evolving and growing. The other missions I wrote down was to make others' lives easier, not harder, to care for the world, to take control of my own life, to tell stories and make voices heard, to learn, to lead with love, and to empower myself and others. So I am all about learning how to put myself out there, learning how to make my own voice heard, but also to help other people get their voices heard. And that's sort of how I began with writing and developmental editing and ghostwriting. It's to help people tell their stories and help them find their true voice, because they'll send me the book they wrote, for example, and there's always a good story there, but they're too close to it and they haven't found their voice. They haven't figured out how to tell the story, even though they know enough to know that they have a story to tell. And so I'm all about trying to help people find their own voices. So moving on to the next page, there are 4 different categories on that page. The first is I am grateful for, and this is where I very much just stole from my original layout in the 6-month planner, but I didn't do a full setup for you guys on that one. So I'll go ahead and read through, and I just go through also, and I'm putting different gold bullet points throughout. These arrows and the little triangles are from Michael's. I'm not sure if they still have these stickers. They were from a while ago, and they're actually really cute, and I just never got around to using them, so I'm excited that I'm finally doing that. So for the I am grateful for category, I put my beautiful apartment where I can live my ideal life. I moved back at the end of July, and I was really unhappy in my last apartment. I am a little nostalgic for it because it was my first apartment with my boyfriend, but it was not a great living environment because of our neighbor and because it was just a small place. Our landlord was terrible, and we moved to a new place that is a little more expensive, which has been a struggle, but I love it so much. It is beautiful. I can have my little herb garden outside. I have actual space to do yoga where I can actually put my arms out fully to the side without having to turn and do all these weird things. I have room where I can do it, and it's wonderful. I also have different workspaces that I can go to. I am also grateful for my strong relationships with truly good people. Especially in LA, it feels like finding a mermaid or a unicorn every time you meet somebody and they're truly good people. And it takes time to really know that they're good people. But I have a few relationships now where I'm just like, wow, I've known you for years and years and you're just a great person. And that's rare. I am grateful for my ability to make good money while still pursuing my dreams. Because I'm in LA, my money doesn't stretch as far as I would like it to, but I do make good money and I have very flexible schedule, and that's really lucky. Like, I'm able to go to auditions and pay my bills, and that is the dream. That's what I hoped for when I was younger, was the ability to do what I'm doing right now. It's actually pretty close to what I pictured. I mean, I would like more acting work than I have, but I think I need to push myself to create my own content, and so the opportunities that aren't coming are actually helping me pursue my bigger dreams. I am also grateful for my love for healthy food. It makes being healthy and making healthy choices a lot easier because I've always liked healthy food. I am also grateful for my ever-changing knowledge and experience. Next up is my affirmations, but first I'm going to put these little check marks. I think I went on to my affirmations, not the what am I passionate about category. If not, I apologize, but I'm going to dive in. My affirmations, I first went with one that went with my rooting down theme. I put, I am grounded, stable, and standing on my own 2 feet. The root chakra is what I'm really going to focus on, and getting connected to the earth. So I want that stability. I want to feel like things aren't up in the air. I don't want to be living paycheck to paycheck. I don't want to have to be worried about my work schedule and if I'm going to get everything done on time. I want a sense of calm to come over my life because I'm so close to everything that I've ever wanted, but I'm constantly feeling frantic and unstable. So that's the first one. I am enough. I have control over what my life is every day. I attract success by being my authentic self, and money is always flowing my way. I really like the attract success by being my authentic self one. Being genuine is a really important thing to me, and I think that the reason I like the artists that I do is because of how genuine they seem. And people are always trying to tell me to be more one thing or another, and I feel like I do need to be pushed in certain ways to be more professional, more put together. But at the same time, I think the fact that I'm not always those things is what makes me relatable and is what will sell me to others. So it's all about not trying to be something I'm not. So what am I passionate about? What brings me joy in life? Creating high quality, genuine content that goes with what I was just saying. Health, taking time to prepare and enjoy food and practice yoga. Those are things that I am passionate about. I'm always thinking about them, but I don't always execute them perfectly. So that's why I'm challenging myself to be vegan for 3 months. And I've been slowly building up my yoga practice, but I want to get a little more serious about it. Next, I am passionate about consuming as much art as possible and connecting with nature. I decided to group those together because I think nature is sort of like art. I think I feel better when I just go for a walk. Today I walked to the grocery store just to get some tuna for the cats, and it just makes me feel more at peace. Art to me counts, film, media, even YouTube channels. It's all content creation that people are putting their hearts and souls into, and I think it's inspiring, and it makes me feel more fulfilled as a person, makes me feel more empathetic, makes me feel like I'm closer to the people around me and their experiences. I am passionate about lifting up others and creating opportunities, and I am also passionate about having fun. I decided to include that one because that's something that I feel has been lacking from my life for a while, because I've been so worried about being a people pleaser and making other people happy. I've lost my ability to just enjoy the moment and have fun and allow myself to have fun. So I put that I'm passionate about that, because even though it's not something at the forefront of my mind, it's something that should be, because I do care about that and I do want that to be part of my life. Next up is the skills to learn and habits to adopt this year section. I sort of half did this. I didn't get into the nitty-gritty specifics. I just went with broad strokes. If I want to learn social media marketing, I want to gain composure, I want to learn how to produce content, and I want to learn a language. I'm going back and forth between if I want to zero in on Spanish or French. I know if I go with French, I already have a pretty solid foundation of stuff that I've already internalized, but Spanish is obviously more functional for my day-to-day life. I could use Spanish, but if I learned French, it's easier to learn Spanish as a second or third language rather, because they have similar roots. So we'll see how it ends up. So on the next page, I'm going to start setting up my vision board. I really loved the vision board that I set up in the last planner. And so I was nervous about this one because I didn't have the same stickers to use. I actually thought about just cutting it out of that one and putting it in here, but I feel like my goals and my vision has changed a little bit, so I decided to go ahead. I used this sticker that I got from Etsy. It was a lot of different cutouts of girls, and I used that as like my central item and decided to try my hand at a little bit of simple drawing. I put this 4-leafed or 4-petaled flower behind myself that is representative of the root chakra, and I colored it really lightly with some red markers and pens and pink. And the idea behind the root chakra is feeling safe, feeling stable, and having health, having the bases covered for basic stability, which again is what I'm going for. So I wanted to incorporate that into the vision board. I also used the symbol for the root chakra and the word Muladhara. You don't see it when I write it down because I apologize. I did that out of the range of the camera. But that is the word for the root chakra, and I wrote down creating strong roots. I also put down this sticker from a Happy Planner book in the bottom right corner that says, "Don't dig up and doubt what you planted in faith," by Elizabeth Elliot. That I assume refers to religious faith, but I decided to interpret it slightly differently because I am all about rooting down and putting faith in myself and my future that I'm going to be okay. So this year, part of the stability is getting back on track financially. I'm back where I started basically at the beginning of my channel, because I've been focusing on my creative stuff and that has paid off and that's been really fulfilling, but it has been bad for my budget. So going back to work and getting financial stability there, also going to a therapist and working through some of my issues to create more stability for myself. And also even as simple as I'm starting to grow an herb garden. This past Christmas, I got a lemon tree that is a mini lemon tree that I just can fit out on my little patio entry area, and a little herb garden, so I'm going to save on some groceries. I use lemons every week. I used herbs every week, but I'll usually end up just using like 2 tablespoons for a recipe, and the rest of it goes bad before I can use more of it. So having the herb garden is really exciting, and learning that skill and getting more connected with nature, I think, will be a really great part of grounding down. I also wrote down the words create, write, and grow wealth. All about creation and growing is really the root of it. the root of it. See, it's all rooting down plant metaphors for my vision board. I also ended up putting down this cute little watering can. That was actually a Peppa Pig sticker, but some of those stickers are actually really cute, so I use them occasionally. And then put down just some foil deco. I'm not sure how I like how it turned out. It's a little chaotic, but I do really like it overall. I think it's pretty. And so that is my vision board. I also ended up putting down this blue believe sticker, and that's it for the year. I think it's a good vision board. Mainly just the flower image is what I wanted. And I thought about spreading it across both pages. Maybe I would have liked that, but I wouldn't have been able to center it around my little figure. So I think it turned out pretty well for just winging it, not having a real plan and not wanting to print things off and copy and paste and stuff like that. The next 2 pages are the intense goal planning. I definitely had to sit down and plan out some of this in more detail before I would put it in the final spread. So for my goals, it has the different life areas: health and fitness, business and career, family and friends, relationships and romance, finance, personal development, fun and recreation, and spiritual. This is where I sort of fell off when using the daily planner. I think what I really need is to plan things out specifically, because it would say each day it wanted me, or each week rather, it wanted me to have a different activity for personal development, my family, fun and recreation, spiritual, and I didn't have a list to go to, so it always just felt like I was randomly having to come up with ideas and I couldn't on the spot, so I didn't use it. So that is one thing I'm going to do this time, is definitely create lists to make sure I stay on top of that stuff. For my health and fitness goals, I want it to be 95% vegan, and that is to take into account items that I eat when I'm out that might be vegetarian rather than vegan, or different breads or things like that where something non-vegan sneaks in there. There's always hidden milk and dairy and whatever in products. So I'm not going for perfection. I am a perfectionist, and going for perfection is a really bad idea for me personally. I also want to get to the point where I do the half primary with a headstand daily, and there's going to be smaller goals building up to that, such as just doing yoga almost every day, and then a weekly self-care session. I had started doing that and I was feeling so much better, and I stopped because life got busy and I didn't have time, and then I just started feeling terrible and things start slipping. So I want to make sure that is a goal. And that's sort of hard because sometimes goals aren't things that you achieve and then it's done. Like, this is a habit that I need to develop, but it is a really important goal. Then for business and career, it's a little more vague. I want to write my first book. I sort of decided that arbitrarily. And first book, I have technically written 2 books now, and I'm working on the 3rd. One of them got published. One of them we finished in the first draft phase. And the author is going to go through maybe at some point in the future. She did actually email me for the first time in a long time the other day. And we might go through and finish that at some point. But I want to write the first book that is going to be by Mary Ann Ramish rather than somebody else. I do have an idea for a Friends-themed book. If people end up finding our podcast and enjoying it, I would really love to publish that. And then the other 2 are where it's more arbitrary. I want to discover new aspirations and develop new skills monthly. I feel a little bit lost about what I want to do, and it sort of depends on how the writing goes, how the production stuff goes, that I think I'll figure it out. But I also want to take a course at least once a month to develop a new skill and find new passions. So that is what those goals are. In terms of family and friends, I want to start sending birthday cards to people just to show them that I care, and I'll probably do custom handwritten cards with maybe different stickers and stuff. I want to plan a trip home to Wisconsin, and I want to save for Christmas next year so that I'm in better shape to buy great gifts for people. Because this year I bought most of my gifts from small businesses, but I did end up last minute having to get some stuff from Amazon just because I didn't have the money to buy the gifts from smaller businesses. But smaller businesses, you need to give them more time to get the gifts to people. So I ended up having a few last minute stragglers from Target or Amazon. For my relationships and romance section, one of the goals is having a weekly cleaning hour. It is very important to my significant other that we have a clean living space, and I've gotten a lot better about not being messy, but I have always been a very messy person, so I want to make more of a habit out of that. I also want to plan a monthly new date for us to go on. We tried out a couple new things and we really loved them, like going to a jazz club and going to Flappers Comedy Club, and then we just started doing those things over and over. And so I want to create a list of date ideas and do a different one each month. And I also want to learn to set boundaries because of my desire to please people. I sort of make myself miserable trying to make him happy. And it's like, even he is just like, but what would make me happy is if you're happy and you're making yourself unhappy and trying to make me happy. And it's like this vicious cycle. So I'm trying to set boundaries, not with him, but with myself. For finance, my first goal is a $1,000 emergency fund. I need it. I need it so badly. The end of each month is always so terrifying, and my car is on the fritz all the time. The other day, it just stopped working. Like, I went out to turn it on, and it was just completely dead. And so I had to get a lift to work and a lift back, and then we called AAA, and the guy opens up the battery, checks it out. He's like, everything's fine. And all of a sudden, the car was magically back to working perfectly. I don't understand it. I also want to divide my business and personal income more clearly this year. I do have a business account that I need to start having all my business expenses coming out of, but that also goes with sort of merging my finances with Lex's because he takes on a lot of the business expenses. And so maybe transitioning to me paying more of the rent and him paying more of the business expenses out of his accounts and stuff like that. I don't know. I also want to increase my income to $5,000 per month. I know that that's a lot, and I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to do it because honestly, the past 3 months it's been closer to $2,000 a month, which is terrible. And so I'm going to get a serving job and continue doing the stuff I'm doing, hopefully, and we'll figure it out. For personal development, I want to create a capsule wardrobe where I have 30 items that I wear interchangeably. I want to do a morning planning session every day to make sure I'm staying on top of my goals. And I want to make sure I do my weekly and monthly reviews that I did not do in the 6-month planner because I don't like doing that. But I think that will help me grow a lot and stay on track of my goals. And you know what I say about always growing. I didn't put in the weekly and monthly reviews until later, but you'll see that then. For fun and recreation, I want to grow an herb garden. I want to pick a fun activity to do once per month to make fun a priority and to limit myself to 3 drinks because I stop having fun after 3 drinks. I can get emotional or I can get upset or I just start feeling sick and insecure or whatever. I'm a person and 3 drinks is plenty. And I don't drink very often at all. So that's why it's like limit to 3 drinks because it's like once every 6 months I might get together with my old coworkers and we'll have drinks. Or I'll go get sushi with a friend 2 to 3 times per year. So it's very rare that I drink. And so might as well limit those times because my tolerance isn't very high. For spiritual, I want to start going to therapy, or I would prefer it to be text therapy because I'm somebody who, if I try to talk about my feelings, I start to cry. So it would be easier for me to just be able to write things down and get responses. So I'm going to try to do that. I want me time every 2 weeks, and I want to pick a weekly affirmation. So there are a few things that are like me time every 2 weeks, my weekly self-care, my date every month, and my fun activity every month that are things that I really do need to stay on top of planning. So this planning session is getting a little more into my nitty-gritty life than normal, but hopefully you guys don't mind hearing some of that personal stuff. Hopefully I'm not oversharing. Next, moving on, this is the first 3-month goal spread. So on one page it has the mind map with a dot grid, and then you pick 5 goals for those 3 months. And I thought about breaking down the goals I just laid out on the previous pages, but I had more specific goals that I also wanted to get down that were more tangible. So I used this 3-month goal to work on that. So my 3-month goal is to finish the memoir that I am writing as a ghostwriter. I want to finish a first draft of the script I've been working on for over a year. I want to get my $1,000 emergency fund in place. I want to find a therapist, and I want to be vegan for those 90 days. So I also made sure to put the why I wanted to finish the memoir is to gain confidence as a writer. I want to finish the script to assure myself that I have the ability to make my own opportunities, and I want less distraction because of fear. So I want the $1,000 emergency fund. I want to find inner peace and stop giving away my power to others so that I can create more opportunities for myself. So I want to find a therapist, and I want to curb impulse spending and improve my health. So I never really thought of myself as becoming vegan, but when I'm not eating vegan, I am usually doing it on the run, like on the go between jobs, or snacking on food around the houses where I'm nannying, or things like that, or stress eating. And so because those are the 3 main sources of my non-vegan food, if I challenge myself to not be vegan, it will help rein in my eating a lot. And so it just seems like a fun way to challenge myself to stop those bad behaviors rather than just being like, hey, stop eating when you're stressed. It's like, no, you can eat, but you should go to get a green smoothie or go to a slightly more expensive but better for you vegan cafe rather than swinging by a McDonald's. I also wanted to make sure to put in my rewards. I put these cute little gold stars because that's what you get when you do something good. You get a gold star. So this is where I also begin my reward list, because that's another thing that I stopped doing that I really liked in the daily planner was the reward if achieved section. I thought it was a great idea, and I never could figure out what rewards to give myself, because if it's financial, I can't afford it, sort of a thing. So when I finish the memoir, I'm going to give myself a meal out to start working on the ideas for my first book. When I finish the first draft of the script, I want to give myself a bonus date night with Lex. That one doesn't have to be a new date, but just a fun excursion. When I get my $1,000 emergency fund, that means I will be in slightly better financial shape, so I'm going to give myself a small monetary award of $30 to spend on Etsy stickers. And when I find a therapist and have my first session, I am going to walk to the local macaroon place to get myself a treat. I need to make sure that I can eat those macaroons, but I'm pretty sure they had vegan ones. And then after I am vegan for 90 days, I am going to give myself a beach day and go read on the beach. I haven't done that since I was new to LA because finding parking is such a pain. Traffic out to the beach is such a pain. But I want to give myself a beach day. Moving on to the mind map, I again put down the root chakra symbol because that's especially my goal for these 3 months is to work on things that are good for my root chakra. So the vegan diet and the financial stability, the therapist, all that sort of stuff, the herb garden, all of that is about making that chakra stronger. I don't believe necessarily that the chakras are real, tangible, measurable things, but I really like the ideas behind them. So what's the difference at the end of the day is my thought. So I start to make a little branch out of it for health. I want to stock my pantry with staples such as English muffins and pizza sauce and mushrooms and peppers to put on it so I can make little pizzas on the go. I also really love having white beans with tomato sauce and some red pepper and a couple herbs, and I can put that on toast, have beans on toast, or just eat the bowl of beans I've found I really like as a meal. Also, dried mango with no sugar added. I actually don't like when sugar is added. It makes it taste so weird to me. So stock up on just mango, dried mango slices. I want to get a recipe book to put my favorite Clean Food Dirty Girl recipes in so that when I want to just make something on the fly, I can do that instead of getting a whole meal plan for the week. If I want to just grab something on the go, I could probably do that with a lot of the vegan recipes. I want to track my self-care days to make sure I'm doing them, my 1-hour self-care sessions, and I want to do daily sun salutes, not including Saturday. Moving on to my business goals, I want to choose 3 courses to do over the next 3 months on Coursera. It doesn't have to be Coursera, but that's the one I've been doing. I want to work for 3 days a week on the memoir. I want to work 3 days a week on my script so I can alternate those days. I want to read the book Becoming because that was used as a reference point for the memoir. And I want to start reading the production book that I got for Christmas a year ago. I had gotten 2 production-related books. One was about writing a business plan, and I worked my way through that, and I did get that business plan written and in place so we can get financing once we have a script we're passionate about. And so now I need to read the book on production. Next, I add on to the branch to make a family category. I want to buy cards from Hobby Lobby probably to send to people for their birthdays. I need to get everybody's addresses. I already wrote down their birthdays at the back of this planner. I want to read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a classic that you've heard of, I'm sure, and I figure it seems like it's had lasting power and it can always use more interpersonal skills, so why not? And I want to budget for Christmas and budget in general so that I can visit my family, give gifts to my family, and just feel like I can go on vacations with them when they're planning them, or even when they visit me, I can go out to dinner and treat them or something. In the category of love, I put date ideas. I need to make a list for that. I need to go to therapy, and I need to have my cleaning plans in place. So you can see that my mind map isn't really fully about the 5 goals that I laid out to the left. This mind map is about all of my goals, but it's breaking it down into more action steps. And you sort of see how the 5 goals do work their way into the bigger picture goals. So then I move down to the bottom half of the page and start writing down plans for finances, fun, personal, and spiritual goals. For finances, I need a new job. I want to do my business meeting for budgeting and do a budget review. So that all sort of goes together. And then for fun, I want to buy different herbs. I want to create a fun ideas list, and I want to schedule fun days 3 times in the next 3 months. For personal, I want to go through my jewelry and start wearing jewelry. I want to pre-plan my wardrobe. I want to wake up at least 30 minutes before I have to go to work. Sometimes I just roll out of bed 10 minutes beforehand, change, and head out the door because I'm so exhausted. But I know that I feel worse on those days because I feel like I look terrible and all of that. So I want to give myself time to get ready. And for spiritual, I want to organize my insurance to make sure that I have coverage and can perhaps use that for therapy. I want to research therapy options. I want to make a list of self-care ideas. I want to schedule alone time at least once every 2 weeks, I think is what I had said. And let me see. Yeah, every 2 weeks. And I want to start listening to music because I started doing that for the first time this past year, and it did help after it made me feel more emotional for a while. I've experienced some negative stuff, and for a long time I just mostly stopped listening to music. I would listen to podcasts, or I would just drive in silence. Part of that is because my car automatically shuts off the sound system sometimes. It's a really old car, and so I just got used to driving in silence, but I've found that it's cathartic to listen to music, and there's obviously a lot of studies about that being good for mental health, so I want to make sure I do that. Now, moving on to the weekly spreads, I first go through and put in date dots for the month, and I'm mad at myself because I realized later I had put these monthly labels on, but there had been monthly labels on the stickers that came with this planner, so I may just cover those ones up with the prettier ones at some point. So the first thing I do is go in and fill in the pre-planned YouTube videos that I have for the month. So right now I have a budget with me, a budget setup, and 3 plan with me's. Then I go in and put in my podcast schedule. So it's season 1, episode 6 through episode 10 in January. And I realized later that I'm glad that I scheduled it all properly, because this calendar starts on Monday rather than Sunday, which is so weird, but I'm sure I can get used to it because I always plan my weekly and daily schedules Monday to Sunday, but I always have used monthly spreads that start on Sunday. So it was a scary moment when I was like, wait, did I number it all wrong because of that? But I didn't, thankfully. So then I go through and start planning. On the monthly page, you can see there is a habits to adopt square, skills to learn, things to avoid, places to go, and people to see. And this is one of those examples of things that I don't always love being told what to put in the miscellaneous section of my planner, but I'm going to go ahead and try to use these ones. I want the habit of waking up at least 30 minutes early and a weekly cleaning session. I want to learn. I put down course. I decided to finish a financial course that I had started previously about business finance. Things to avoid is meat products. Places to go, I'm going to go to Malibu and GM. I don't even remember what GM is. Oh, I know. I need to go to apply for a job at that location, and people to see is a family member that's coming to town. And then for my goals for the month, I put down this foil Let's Have Fun sticker that came with the planner. My goals is to, my goals are to plan to apply at a restaurant, schedule a date, which ended up being Malibu, so I crossed that one off already because that's built into our plans for the month already. I want to sort out my insurance for my healthcare. I want to schedule a budget meeting and have a budget meeting about business finances. I want to eat no meat and be vegan. I want to buy a recipe book. I want to create my fun list, create my date list, create my self-care list, and create my reward list. And then I want to schedule 2 me days and sort through my jewelry. And then the other 2 categories are this month's win and how I'll improve next month that I will focus on then. So here's where I set up my labels for my fun self-care date and reward ideas, but I apologize, can't see me do that. I didn't jot down any of the ideas yet. I decided to do that on my own time. So that actually brings me to the end of my planner set up. Can you believe it? It happened so fast. So I really love how the setup turned out. I think this is going to be a really functional, great planner for the rest of the year. And you can see my flip through here. And I think it came together really well, and I'm excited to dive into it each week. And I like how the little stickers are looking, and I'm a happy lady. And I can't wait to do the first monthly review and start kicking my own butt. So now is the moment we have all been waiting for. This is my final flip through, and then it is time for the giveaway. Clever Fox Planner was nice enough to send me this planner that I just set up, and another one to give to one of you. This cover for this one is black, so it comes in this pretty black box. And yeah, the inside is exactly the same. It's just a black cover this time. It has the How It Works booklet, the same sticker sheets that I showed you earlier, and I'm not going to open up the whole planner because I want to save that for you guys. The only thing you have to do, there's 4 steps. I want you to subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the Clever Fox Planner channel, which is going to be in the description box. Follow them on Instagram at Clever Fox Planner, and then comment below when you have done that so that I know you entered. And there's probably not going to be very much competition, so you guys want to get on this. I'll talk to you guys again soon.